Okay, guys, Wednesday's highlights from GreatStockPicks.com. I have been less than stellar this week, but still made some money today. Man, I had to fight back from the morning. I'll show you some of the dumb things I did this morning. But in the afternoon, URI, when you hear us talk about shape change all the time, if you loosely connect the tops of these candles, you don't need a drawing tool to do it, by the way. You can just visualize it, right? But loosely connect the tops, and right here you see the shape change. It's subtle, but it turns into almost a angle change is maybe a better way to put it. You can see the angle change. I'll take this last candle out. So as it's grinding, and then you get that angle change lower. And what I loved was the high volume. When this thing really did this push down, I had the projector on for everybody to see it. I switched to 1 minute candles. Said I was going to take this. If it first break of a previous 1 minute candles high, it definitely looked like capitulation. I liked it on the daily chart as well in this area for support. So over this candle was my long, 29.19. Low of day stop, that's a little bit deceptive because that means on our results page it's going to say that we had 36 cents a share risk. And that is true when the stock was setting up you can see 1 minute candles right after it triggered. I would say 10 seconds after it triggered, you were 20 cents in the green. Okay, no, that's not accurate. 29.19 was the trigger. 4 minutes. Okay, no, these are 1 minute candles. That's right. So I was right. 2 minute candles. 2 minutes after the setup, we're about 30 cents in the green. So even though the stop goes here, at this point we're already to a break-even stop. Okay, and it's made it up $1. It went up $1 in our favor on again a little bit more than 30 cents risk, but not really. And that ended up making my day and getting me back in the green. I love bottom feeding. But let's go over the other calls from the day. GMCR I had on watch as a bounce play. GMCR looked like this. Nice little kind of wedge pattern. It's beaten up on the daily. Okay, there it is on the daily. Overdue for a bounce. So we just had it on bounce watch. I often say, and you probably heard me say, it doesn't cost you anything to have a chart, a stock, on a chart for you to check on. So a bounce play, I want to see it trade in a narrow range for at least a half hour and then a breakout, okay? That's what this did. So I called it at 1821. I thought if it got up to here, it's going to get through the high of the day. GMCR lighting up the new highs ticker might get them piling in. So 1821, and about 5 minutes later, it's at 1830. I sold a little bit, so I had a free trade. It came back to my entry and I was back out. So GMCR can get no traction at all right now. It made sense to have it on watch. Speaking of bounce plays, I also had SVU on watch. And this one gave a little bit of money. SVU, ugly as anything, right? But didn't cost us anything to have it on a chart. And this is what it looked like. Again, a narrow range. We're looking for a break of the early high. So 235 would be the break. Stop's going to go, worst case 230. And over the course of the next 4 or 6 minutes, it goes up almost a dime. Not 4 to 6 minutes, I'm sorry. Over the next hour, it goes up about a dime. Doesn't sound like much, but on a $2 stock, not a bad percentage move. Certainly not deserving of a spot in the highlight video, but still I'm trying to go over all my ideas from the day so people can't say I'm omitting them. Stephen B., one of our soon-to-be all-stars, by the way, one of our members, and every once in a while I'll appoint a new member an all-star where their font is a different color than everybody else, and it chimes when they post so everyone can hear that an all-star posted something. Stephen B. from our chat room. He's very, very steady. And I got to share this with you. Even though he wasn't an all-star, it won't be on the results page. He posted eBay, long eBay, $39.85. When it looked like this, okay? So in other words, if it takes out this little green candle's high and a 6-cent stop, $39.79 stop. Look at that. There's the trigger. Never looks back. He called this on a 6-cent stop. $39.85, it gets to $40.60, and he is definitely one to watch. Very, very, very good call. I try to brag on people when they impress me, and he does that a lot. VVUS. VVUS was another trade I made some money on. Now this isn't very professional, but VVUS, after this crazy action yesterday and today, they get FDA approval. I didn't do anything with this until it looked about like this, okay? The early high is 30.47. I'm not a fan of taking high of day breaks, but on this chart, I thought if it broke the high of the day, I could get some upside. and I said you could just go ahead and nibble right here rather than trying to chase a high of day break with a stop, below 30 maybe. And I had it on the projector 30, 48, at least I think I did. I'm sorry, it actually was about 30, 40 when I gave the idea you could nibble here with a stop below 30, and then you did get the break, and really within 10 minutes from 30, 40, you're at 31.05. I didn't type out a trigger and stop or anything, but we definitely had members take that because I got some thank yous. So that was a nice little quick scalp too. What failed me this morning? Omex. Omex is my Achilles heel, and this isn't. Normally I wouldn't try to trade this stock because it doesn't have enough volume. Okay, but it had this. Let's go back to fives. It had this big move yesterday into the close. Okay, and I told everybody, well, I bet you they're bringing up silver. If you know the story, great. I'm not going to go into it. If you don't, look up Omex's story. And this is what it looked like into the close. I was not in it, but it certainly put it on my watch list today. Today they did announce horrible earnings, and then right after that they announced that they're starting to bring up silver. I don't remember how much, but so I thought the big question for Omex was, are they going to be able to retrieve the silver from 3 miles down? And that was the big question, and I thought that was answered today. They've already retrieved way more than a ton of silver, and they're back in port refueling and getting ready to head back out. So there's a huge windfall for Omex there, and a cheap stock. So I thought we might get a bounce today. I switched to 2-minute candles after the gap up and called it, said if it gets back above 4. So I thought maybe we had profit taking here, back through 4 with a stop at 389. It gets to 410, so you could have had an early morning scalp. I just went ahead and let mine work. I was hoping for a high of day break and ended up getting stopped out for 11 cents all the way here this late in the day. So you can see how long I held it, not very professional. And that one was less of a chart play for me and more of a knowing the story play, which I often say I think I do better when I don't know the story. But it will be back on watch the rest of this week. I think maybe it makes some headlines and gets a secondary move here. So keep OMEX on your radar. What else do we have? UAL, United Airlines. Again, another shape change idea. All right. This was, and I also drew a trend line. Let me go to the daily real quick and show you that. I drew a trend line from recent lows, and it had sold off for a couple days down to that area. Now switching to fives, you had that shape change we look for. Okay, that's what intraday capitulation or an intraday bottom looks like. I should say an intraday bottom. Connect the tops of the candles, and it's subtle, but right there you've got that shape change, stair steps, better volume than the ones preceding it. And so that was what I showed everybody. So I said you could get a nice 5 set up there. What that means is the first break of a previous 5-minute candle's high, stop below its low. So 22.56. I did not take this one. Would have been 22.56 with a 22.46 stop. So a dime risk, and you can see how that shape change came into play again. It gets up to 22.90 something. So a nice little late day trade for anyone that took that. And it's just a testimony to that shape change, especially if you're at a trend line or some kind of support being working, and it's proven itself pretty well. So Omex was my morning blunder. I had another one. GMCR I actually made a little money in. What else did I lose on? EDU, this thing, and again I won't trade this again. Everybody started reminding me of Rhino. Rhino got halted, and people could, even if you were long or short when it got halted a long time ago, it was halted for several months. So even if you were short, you were still up a creek without your money, right? And everyone said, hey, Mike, you might have another Rhino on your hands. And I was stalking. And that was after I went ahead and called it. I used 15-minute candles right there. Okay, so my idea was over this candle, 1191, which it triggered right here. And I thought if it got through 12, then it might be a nice push. So nice push. So I took it at 1191, and I stopped it below this candle right here at 1160 something, 1163 I think. So I did take a 20-something cent loss right there. I triggered there, and I was out there, and I'm glad I did. And I won't be looking at this long or short tomorrow. I'm too scared of a halt. It's called New Oriental Ed and Tech Group. That's scary enough in and of itself. So we'll be banning EDU from the chat room. That was. And I got the reminders after my call about Rhino, and that's right. I mean, my job is to keep our traders safe, and I'd hate to call something like that and have it get halted. And again, some of these halts, I think one of them on a Chinese stock lasted over a year. So I think that was it. I shouldn't have messed with EDU. Oh, WDC, I also had a failed call in this one. I liked the strength. It went up and hit the 200-day, which would have been a nice short at that point. But then on the way back down, I called it long. I'll show you exactly where. Called it long over this candle. Thought it might retrace and go back to the high of the day. So my long idea was 33.36, 33.23 stop. Triggered and stopped me out and ended up giving a little push at the end of the day. So, it's just been a lackluster week for me. Made a killing in Genome yesterday and a really nice trade in URI to get nicely green. I also made a little bit of money in VVUS. And Omex got me. And some members made money in some of the others as well. So anyway, that's it. I'm not going to babble any further. We will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good night.